Your email list is your brand's most important asset. That's because you fully own and control it, and you decide what kind of content you're going to send to your email subscribers. On top of that, probably over 95% of your total website visitors never come back to your website, and you're leaving a ton of money on the table because it's probably dozens, hundreds, or even thousands of extra sales every single day. So in this video, I'm gonna show you how to change that and how to convert 5 to 15% of your total traffic into paying email subscribers and how to do it fast. So let's get right into the video. It's gonna be a complete pop-up masterclass. Now, before we dive in, a few words about me. So my name is Konrad. I run an agency called Mail, where in the past 4 years we have worked with over 40 e-commerce brands, making them over $25 million in email and SMS sales. If you ever want to find me anywhere outside of YouTube, you can do it on X or on LinkedIn. There are going to be links right here. Now, I'm going to show you how to turn 5 to 15% of your total traffic into paying email subscribers. That's because I've made millions of dollars for over 30 brands by improving their list growth, and what I will show you will work for any brand, in any niche, in any country, and in any language as well. You're going to learn the fundamentals, but I'm also going to show you some tips and tricks on how to get the best results and how to do it fast. So if you watch the whole video through, you're gonna know how to quickly grow your email list and increase your revenue. It's going to work for you, even if you tried using pop-ups before and sign up for it, but you didn't really find any success and it turned out to be a failure. Now, you might be wondering, why is this important? As I mentioned at the start of the video, your email list is your biggest asset because you fully own and control it, and nobody can take it away from you. But you're also spending money on ads anyway, so having a good sign-up form will help you drive your customer acquisition down, which will allow you to reinvest this money into ads, or if you prefer inventory, or anything else that will help you grow your store. Getting your sign-up form conversion rate from 3% to 9%, where 9% isn't something unheard of, it's quite common actually, will literally triple your email list growth, which will result in 3x more welcome flow revenue. That's because you're gonna have 3 times more recipients, plus that's on the front end. On the back end is gonna be way more than that in total, just because these people are also gonna be receiving your other flows and other campaigns. Now, outdated strategies don't work anymore. So if you're not following this year's trends, you're already behind your competitors who are currently using these up-to-date tactics, and making some mistakes can cost you even 6 or 7 figures in annual revenue, and this guide will show you how to avoid making all of them. In this document, we're going to cover the current list growth trends in 2024, the biggest mistakes I see multiple 7 and 8 figures brands make, sign up from times, so what to use and avoid, how to build a great pop-up, which is going to be a step-by-step tutorial. We're going to cover list growth as well for SMS list, and I'm going to show you how to optimize your pop-up and run A/B tests. Plus, as a bonus, you're going to see some creative list growth methods. So first of all, does it work? You might be wondering. I'm just going to show you some of the client results, some of the pop-ups we have done. Once again, like pretty good conversion rate on all of these. Anything above 5% is really decent. Obviously, you want this number to be as high as possible. In this case, for example, for us, it was almost 50%, which is pretty decent. So let's talk about 2024 e-commerce list growth trends. The first trend is that you should always have one step at a time. So instead of asking about multiple things, where you could be asking like 4 of them at once, like in this example, it's no longer valid. Like this no longer works, just because like that's outdated, and you can't ask about someone's name, email address, phone number, and birthday date and expect them to fill out everything at once. It feels overwhelming, and all it does is scare people away. The first thing they would want to do after seeing it, like this example on the left, is close it, even without thinking what's in it for them. Even if you had the best offer there, probably the conversion rate wouldn't be that great because you're asking about so many data points from these people. You can collect multiple data points, don't get me wrong, but you need to do it one step at a time. Instead, here's a great example of a pop-up that probably converts pretty well because it asks about only one data point. So the good rule is to follow one data point at one step. If you follow this rule, you're gonna do pretty well, just because it's gonna be pretty low friction. Another very important trend is that it's offer first. So sorry to break it to you, but the harsh truth is that the majority of the people don't want to join your email list just to keep connected or stay in touch. And I'm saying these examples like in particular because I see so many brands having it as a main header of their pop-up. And I mean, it's cool to stay connected with your audience or stay in touch, but trust me, majority of the people, they won't care. Unless they are die-hard fans and you're Nike or Adidas or any other big brand that has huge following, which is, highly connected with you on a deeply emotional level, then you're gonna have a hard time growing your email list with no offer. That's why you must have some kind of offer. People won't give their, precious information. This is the typo, precious information, where you can reach them directly, which is email and phone number, which is even more intimate, for nothing. That's why you need an incentive. In this case, it's going to be an offer. Having an offer versus not having an offer is the difference that will literally double your submission rate without changing anything else. Like right here, for example, this brand, of course, they're more asking about multiple steps, but they also had an offer. And I bet if they changed, socks for life, I mean, it's also even not clear what the offer is, because maybe it's some kind of giveaway, which it is. But if they, had some kind of more clarity on this, or like better offer, maybe better wording, it would convert better right away. You also want to make it easy to say yes. So having an offer is important, but it's not enough, because you must make it accessible to every single person. Now, you want the offer to be noticeable and easy to say yes to. Your pop-up copy should be short and to the point, just like an example here. Anyone reading it should be thinking how easy it is to get this offer they want so badly. The copy and all these steps should be naturally flowing and should feel like a conversation between you and your prospects. Just look at the examples below and think which one you would be more likely to click or engage with. This one or this one? I mean, it's quite clear that this one shows the offer, has one sentence, and you even kind of want to read this because it's so short, like you're curious what's gonna be about. Or in this case, it's so much text, so much copy that you're kind of losing it. And then you're also asking about the email address at the exact same step, which is not ideal. Zero-party data is king, which is true. It's very important these days to, collect zero-party data, where zero-party data stands for data that customers share with your business. It's not only about the email address or the phone number. This could be product interest. If you run a pet brand, it could be, pet toys, like in general, or dog toys or cat toys. This could be problems they're struggling with, or acne or wrinkles, or customer profile. So maybe if you run a brand which is, towards both B2B and B2C, you would like to differentiate those customers because the messaging would be different. This, which is the report data, will help you personalize your content more and target the desires and needs of each customer specifically, which in general will result in a higher conversion rate. One of the examples where, once again, it's product interest, just which kind of product you're most interested in. Macrame, crochet, weaving, not sure, where, if they're not sure, we can just send them to the bundles page, new arrivals, best sellers, and so on. But in general, by doing it, we're going to be able to send more personalized content to these people through both flows and also campaigns. Psychology-based triggers, so you can show your pop-up right after someone visits your website. It's a huge mistake as well. Showing it immediately will interrupt someone's journey, which is not ideal. They didn't read anything about your brand and the product, and I guarantee they won't be interested in your discount. Just think about, like, if they don't even know what you're selling, why would they want a discount for this product? Like, if I don't know what you're doing, why would I care about paying less if I don't even know if I want it, right? And this is exactly why you need triggers based on your customer journey. You want to measure how long people spend on your website and how they interact with it and how quickly they scroll or click the buttons. You can do it for multiple tools, multiple heat maps like Hotjar or anything else works as well. And then you can make your pop-up appear after a certain amount of time, after they've scrolled through your website or when they're about to exit. This way the customer experience will be smooth and your subscribers will be more likely to convert through your flows and campaigns. And this is one of the examples. You can be having a delay of 40 seconds, which gives people enough time to go through the page, go through all the products you have, read about your brand, about what you're selling, and so on. And on desktop, you can be using exit intent only, which is when someone drags out the mouse out of the window. Quality, not quantity, another important one, because having a big list sounds great, but having a smaller one, high quality list, even better. It's better to have 10,000 people who actually want your product and engage with your emails, rather than a list of 100,000 people who have no idea what your product is about and they never open your emails. Focusing on the quality will help you get more sales, but you'll also pay less for your email software, for example Klaviyo, just because your profiles means lower plan, means paying less every single month. And trust me, this can make a huge difference throughout the year. It can be even 5 figures in saved Klaviyo bill every single year. Now we also want to grow organically. This is the current trend. Running ads for lead gen doesn't work that much anymore. We've tried it with multiple brands where, once again, they were running lead gen ads just to build the email list. And usually it doesn't end up well. That's because it focuses on the quantity, not the quality aspect of those subscribers. And you might be able to get cheap cost per lead in most cases. But the truth is that usually those leads don't convert that well because they have no idea about the product or the brand, right? So this low CPL doesn't matter, because even if your cost per lead is low, then your cost per purchase will be higher because these won't be making any sales. Instead, you just want to run your regular conversion ads optimized for purchase, and you want your results to grow as a byproduct of doing that. If you have a well-optimized pop-up, the list is gonna keep growing in the meantime, and the quality of those people is gonna be higher because they're gonna have higher buying intent, and they'll be more likely to purchase from you. You also want to use your thank you page, which is essentially the page that someone can see after they submit all of the information. Make sure you use it and set it up properly because many brands don't even have it. And if it makes sense to show the discount code you promised and have a dynamic link redirecting to your bestsellers. There are multiple tests showing that it actually increases site-wide conversion rate. But if you're, for example, deliverability is not in the great spot, you want to have that kind of thank you page where you're asking people to check their folders like promotions tab and spam to make sure that they received the discount, and by doing so, you're increasing your open rate because they know that they need to actually find it. And if your offer is good, they will do it. Now let's cover the biggest mistake that 7 and 8 figure brands make, so you can just avoid them and avoid missing out on all of this revenue. Buying lists, hands down, one of the worst thing you can do. Buying the list will completely mess up your deliverability, as you'll be sending emails to people who are unengaged, or in this case, they're even unknown. As in, like, they don't know about your brand, they never heard of you. So, when you send an email to them, the open rate for this one is gonna be quite low. The quality of those leads is also like questionable. You don't know where they came from. You don't know what's their buying intent or how much money they've spent. Maybe someone will tell you that these are high buying intent profiles who have spent at least $5K in the last month in online purchases, but usually that won't be true. And like, I'm not questioning everyone. It's just from what we've seen, from our experience. On top of that, you'll need to pay for your software to store all of these profiles, which once again, if you have a ton of profiles, it's gonna cost you a lot, which is just not worth it. Keep this in mind and never buy an email list. There's no exception to that. You don't want to do it ever. Instead, you want to follow this guide and build your list from scratch and make it high quality. Ignoring pop-ups. So pop-ups are the best, hands down, the best list growth tool. Their opportunities are endless and the conversion rate is solid as well. Your embedded sign-up form, which is the one that usually you see in the footer, isn't enough. It's always good to have it, and you still must have it, but pop-ups convert 5 to 10 times better than the embedded sign-up form. And if you do it right, they won't even slightly affect your customer journey. They'll make it even better. Immediate triggers, I briefly covered it before. You want to start using psychology-based triggers. You don't want the pop-up to be the first thing someone see when they land on your website. They will annoy your website visitors and interrupt the journey. You also have a negative effect on your page load and speed load because the pop-up code is firing right away. So do yourself a favor and avoid triggering your pop-up as soon as someone lands on your website. Never optimizing, another huge mistake, because settling for good can cost you a lot of money. And I mean, you can settle for good, but you always need to be striving for the great, and optimizing your sign-up form and taking it from 3% to 6%, which is definitely achievable, will double your welcome flow revenue right away. Not to mention all the subscribers that will go through your other flows, campaigns, and everything else. Improving your pop-up should be your priority because this is the main tool that will help you build your email list. Make sure to launch meaningful A/B tests and keep improving your submission rate. This is a never-ending process, but it's actually very, very worth it. And remember, you want to be running meaningful A/B tests. This word is very important because you don't want to be running A/B tests just for the sake of it. You want to actually be testing someone for the sake of testing it, making conclusions, implementing the winners, and testing once again. Asking about too much, once again, a huge mistake. Briefly mentioned before. You want to learn about your customers, which is fair, nothing wrong with that. But keep in mind that this is your pop-up, not customer survey. You want to collect more data. You either want to break it down into multiple steps within the pop-up, or just create some sort of quiz, or have a survey that people can fill out in the post-purchase flow or on the welcome flow. You can do it. It's going to be better than asking about 15 data points in your pop-up right away. Focusing just on the quantity. Once again, I heard this multiple times. We have hundreds of thousands of email subscribers on our email list, and then it turns out that half of the subscribers aren't even engaged, and the other half is not really that engaged with the emails in general. Like, they open some of these, but not really click that many. They're not converting that much as well. So don't get me wrong, having a big list is great, but if it's a big and a quality list, not if it's a big list of low quality subscribers. Otherwise, sending those emails to those people won't mean anything. It just won't be worth it. Spin a wheel, very, very popular kind of pop-up. and I'm sure you've seen it multiple times, multiple variations of it as well. You know, as the pop-up, as the flyout, as anything else, just, you know, dropping on your head. And it might have a decent submission rate because I've seen it work very well in terms of submission rate and conversion rate. But then what happened is that the lead quality of those people was extremely low. People are submitting it just to see the reward and get dopamine hit. Like, they're really curious what they would receive as a reward. Maybe you're gonna win big, and people love gambling. Even if they're not gamblers, it's generally our human nature that we like to gamble and see what's gonna be in it for us. But then if they don't win anything, or even if they do win something, but it's not as good as you'd like to, they never buy from you. Like, there are some of those people are gonna do it solely for the purpose of spinning the wheel. They just want to spin it, see the results, and then quit, which is not ideal because, once again, super low quality subscribers. It used to work well a few years ago, but now it's rather seen as sketchy and spammy. So I recommend you avoid it at all costs. It's just not worth it. Having the regular pop-up, which I'm gonna show you in the video, is gonna be way better, like way better, way higher quality of those people, and it's gonna look more on brand as well. Double opt-in, probably one of the, once again, biggest mistakes, because turning on double opt-in slows down your email list growth by quite a lot, and mainly because it's an extra step, which in most cases is just unnecessary. So we want to make sure that you have turned it off and that you have single opt-in turned on instead. One important note is that there is one case where double opt-in is recommended, and that's when you're seeing list bombing and high bounce and spam rates. Then you need to turn the double opt-in for a while, sort it out, and then once it's fixed, go back to the single opt-in. We've had a few cases of list bombing, and we have switched to double opt-in combined with the CAPTCHA verification for people who submit the email address, and it has helped us quite a lot because the bounce rate and the spam rates were way lower. So make sure that you, in general, that you have single opt-in, but if you're struggling with list bombing, turn on double opt-in for a while, fix what you have to fix, and then go back to single opt-in. Now let's cover the best sign-up form times to run. So the first one is embedded, probably one of the most common ones, right? This is where you usually see it in the footer, somewhere embedded on the website. And usually it's at the very bottom of the page, at the very end of the page. It's not the best tool to grow your email list, but you still must have it on every single website or page, because it's still gonna get you some people signed up. So make sure you have it. Pop-up, so this one is obviously one of the most popular ones, one of the best ones as well, just because they are one of the most effective tools to grow your email list. Usually pop-ups appear after a certain, after the visitor meets certain criteria. What could be percentage scroll, time on your website, or exit intent, and they partially cover the visitor screen. The word partially is quite important here. I'm gonna show you why. Because then we have full screen pop-ups, which is like a variation of the regular pop-up. As you can see, the same rules apply to both of these, with the small difference that full screen pop-ups take out the full screen and they are covering the entire screen, whether it's on desktop or on mobile. Right now these are working pretty well, so that's why I included them, just to show you what's currently doing pretty fine. Quiz is kind of another variation of the pop-up. They also work great if your target audience has different problems that your product solves. Once again, because you can personalize the content more. Using them allows you to have high quality leads that you know a lot about. You can use it to send personalized content to convert more people through welcome flow and campaigns and stuff like that. Usually quiz can be found as a pop-up, or you can also have it on your landing page embedded into the website, and then both of these work pretty much in the same way. People just fill it out, leave their email address, and then you have all of this data that you can use. Back in stock, I'm not seeing this one quite often, but it's very important to have it. It's kind of like an embedded sign-up form that you have on your website, with the small difference that usually it's instead of the add to cart button, which appears on your product page. And if you have products that you actually plan to restock, it's always good to have this sign-up form, because people can keep joining this list. And whenever you drop this new product, or not new product, but if you restock the current one, you're gonna sell a lot of units just because you had this one. So make sure you do it. It's very important. Promotional pop-ups, for example, Black Friday. Whenever you run a huge sale, always prepare new pop-ups. You can have a pop-up asking about someone's email address. For example, during Black Friday, you can also keep asking them about the email address, with the small difference that you would be showing the Black Friday offer instead, just because it's a bigger incentive. Or you can have pop-ups where you don't collect any data, you just inform people about the sale and redirect them to your main landing page. Both use cases are great and you should be using both of them. The use case for this one, which is great as well, is showing it on blog pages. So people, for example, who came across your blog article from through SEO and they have no idea about the Black Friday sale. You show them this pop-up, they suddenly know about it, and the chances are they'll convert because Black Friday is a huge sale, up to 50%. That's an insane discount, and it's a great use case for this one. Checkout opt-in. This is where a lot of brands mess up. Collecting emails for checkout is huge because these are high quality leads with excellent buying intent. Like they have almost made the purchase, and majority of them probably will make the purchase, but you also need to collect emails from those who haven't done it yet, right? You can't customize it that much. I mean, you can do, a few things here and there, but the most important thing that you need to keep in mind is making sure that your email subscription is pre-selected. It's the lowest hanging fruit. It takes 1 minute to set up, and you'll keep getting new subscribers every single day. You need to go to your Shopify settings, check out, and then this is what it should look like. Make sure that you have both boxes checked and that you save the settings. So then whenever someone goes to the checkout, their field for asking about the email consent will be pre-selected, which once again will help you with higher conversion rate. Now I want to cover how to build a great pop-up. This is gonna be a step-by-step process. I'm gonna show you everything you need to know, all of the facts that you can learn about to make sure that you create high converting pop-ups. We're gonna start with the offer, mainly because this is the foundation of your pop-up. If you have a great offer but everything else is terrible, your pop-up will still convert well. Unfortunately, I can't give you the perfect offer for your brand. That's because every single brand is different. And for example, 10% off might work like a charm for some other brand, while for you, it will be the lowest performing one. So as an action step, make a list of all of the offers that you can and want to run on your pop-up. Just to give you some of the examples, it could be 10% off, dollar amount off, like $20 off, free shipping, free gift with purchase, buy one, get one. You can also do tiered discounts, so spend X to get Y. You can also use up to discounts. You can use a mystery discount, free ebook. You can really play with that quite a lot. Just make sure once again you make a list of all of these, and for now just leave it. Just make a list of the offers that you want to run. Then device, very important settings. So the best practice is to have two separate pop-ups, one for mobile only devices and the other one for desktop only. That's because they have different triggers and designs, and another reason is that whenever you run a test, some variations might do better on mobile while the others will do better on desktop. And you always want to compare both of, you don't want to compare them one-to-one. You want to make a decision based on one specific device. So as an action step, keep your pop-up devices separately. You can see a screenshot from Klaviyo. The one on the left has selected mobile only, where also you want to disable, check this off. You want to disable clicking outside of the pop-up to close it. And for desktop, the same thing, disable this one, but make sure it's desktop only. Now let's cover triggers. I've covered them briefly before, and you already know that immediate pop-ups don't do well. So for desktop devices, I always recommend using exit intent only pop-ups. This way you don't interrupt the customer journey, you don't sacrifice your margins, but it's still, you're still gonna display the pop-up when someone is about to leave. On mobile devices though, it differs for every single brand. I like to start with 10 seconds delay or 60% scroll and then adjust and take it from there. If you browse your store and you feel like the pop-up appears too quickly, extend it. On the other hand, if you think it appears too late, shorten the delays. As an action step, set up the suggested triggers, which is 10 seconds time delay and 60% scroll on mobile, and then open your store, start browsing and see if you like when you got quote unquote interrupted with your pop-up. Copy, keep it simple. That's my main tip. Too many people overcomplicate this trying to achieve, their peak copywriting skills. You don't want to do it. All that people care about is the offer anyways. So while writing the copy, focus on your offer and make the whole pop-up as conversational as possible. It could be as simple as that, like take 10% off, enter your email below to get 10% off your first order. No need to overcomplicate it. That's more than enough. And I guarantee it works well. Now in terms of designs, clarity is the word you should keep in mind when designing your pop-up. There can't be too many elements because otherwise it can become overwhelming. For the majority of the brands, having a one color background and text that is visible and clear call to action is going to be the best choice. Make sure that you include your logo and use branded colors. This pop-up is a great example, simple plain white background combined with the side photo of the products and the offer as well. Clear offer, 20% side wide, 20% off side wide plus free returns. Amazing offer. And yeah, it's very clean, very easy to say yes to, and I guarantee it converts well too. Customer journey. So every single step should be as short and to the point as possible. You need to remember that you're interrupting someone's buying journey and you don't want to make it long or annoying. Asking about one thing in each step and make it flow as seamlessly as possible. This is the advice I have already given you. Remember, one step, one question / request. As an action step for you, just check your pop-up and make sure that you have removed the friction as much as possible. Zero-party data, this might not be applicable to all brands, but if you're, for example, in the supplements or cosmetics niche or any other one that solves multiple problems, it will be for you. That's because collecting zero-party data is like a cheat code for your email conversion rate. You're gathering more information about your subscribers and their issues. That makes it possible for you to send more personalized content and target only this one specific problem or issue they're struggling with. You can see one of the great examples here where we're asking about the customer profile. So we're not asking like, hey, are you B2B or B2C client? We're asking if it's going to be a DIY project or if they run a detailing studio. If they run a detailing studio, then we know they're B2B because they have a business as well. Teaser, very important one. Usually it's a small circle, rectangle, or anything like that you can see on some of the websites, usually somewhere in the corner, usually left bottom or right bottom. You can fully customize it to reflect the offer as well. It's important to have it as people might close your pop-up without filling it out, but after going through the website more and checking out your products, they might change their minds and suddenly they might need a discount. Without the teaser, they won't be able to see the pop-up and trigger it for the next X days, depending on what settings you're using. And that's why you must have your teaser. If you do it, people who change their minds in the process of, going through your website and become interested in your offer will click on it and submit their email. As a tip, make sure that your teaser placements are fine, because I saw multiple brands having a rectangle one that looked great on desktop, but on mobile it was hovering the sticky add to cart, which made it impossible for those people to click on add to cart button. On the sticky one, obviously, they just had the offer, which wasn't ideal. And this is an example of teaser, which is appearing in the left to right corner for one of the brands that I took the screenshot from. Thank you page, I briefly covered it, but imagine this. You land on the website that asks you to fill out the information, you submit your email, name, and after you do it, it's completely blank page, nothing. You will be confused for sure, I guarantee this, and this is the exact reason why you should be using thank you page for your pop-up. You can either let people know to check all of their folders, like I showed you the example before, where I asked them to check their promotions or spam folders to find the email, or you can display a discount code and they redirect them to your bestsellers landing page right away. Both use cases are fine, just make sure that test the discount code first to see if it improves your site-wide conversion rate. This is one of the examples. People can copy the code. We also have the button linking to the bestsellers, and this link also has a dynamic discount already applied. Whenever someone clicks this, they won't even need to enter this code because it will be already applied for them if they click this button. It works great, it just does wonders for your conversion rate. And some of the examples, you're gonna have access to the document below this video, so you can click expand and you're gonna see all of these. Great pop-up, another great one. I mean, I've included only great pop-ups here, but they do work great. This one has micro yes, which is great. Clear offer, very, very brief. Same, went up to 20% off. Great. Surprise, secret offer, that's fine. Mystery discount as well. Great, copywriting, very, very creative, which I like because it fits the brand voice, which is great. Secret sale, and so on and so on. You can just, pause the video and go through these examples on your own because it's gonna be linked in the description down below. Let's cover SMS list growth right now. The main point is that you want to start today. I heard multiple brands saying, yeah, maybe we're gonna do SMS in the future. We don't know yet. Maybe we'll do. Well, I don't care. You need to start doing it right now. Even if you don't plan on using it ever, it's still better to start building it right now. That's because SMS is a more intimate channel and people are less likely to submit their phone numbers than their email addresses. It means that it will take longer than growing your email list, and if you start today, the effects will compound. The other tip is that you want to make it as an optional step. A lot of brands make it mandatory, where if you don't fill both email and phone number, you won't get the discount, which is just terrible. Otherwise, the conversion rate will drop drastically across the board, and your email list will suffer as well. Just because people won't be filling out both of these, it means they won't be filling out, giving you email address as well because they haven't submitted the pop-up. So it always has to be an optional step, and you have to ask for the phone number after they have submitted the email address. You don't want to be asking about both of these simultaneously. Email first and then phone number. This way there is no risk that someone will drop off after they get asked to enter their phone number as well. Like in this example, someone has already given us the email address. And if they don't want to get, any text messages, that's fine. They just click no thanks, I'm good on text, and we move forward. As simple as that. Email campaigns. So this is a simple but effective way to grow your email list. Once a month or once per quarter, you can send a campaign that asks people to join your email list. Of course, it will work better if you have some kind of incentive, but it's not always needed. It's optional as always. It can be as simple as giving subscribers early access to your sales, your arrivals, and so on. This is a great example. Very, short header, then, pretty much the reasons why someone should sign up, and then text us great email example to grow your SMS list as well. Existing profiles pop-up. So if you're using Klaviyo, you can create a new pop-up that triggers your existing subscribers, that targets your existing subscribers. You can ask them to leave their phone number or collect some extra information, like for example, zero-party data. If you want the best results, offer some incentive so more people will join your SMS list. Just remember to apply the same rules as you would with the regular pop-up, which is one step at a time, low friction. If you have an offer, make it the priority, and so on. Now you know how to set up your pop-up, you know how to grow your SMS list. Now it's time to optimize your pop-ups and to run these A/B tests. Before I mentioned that you want to be running meaningful A/B tests, now I'm going to show you the exact A/B tests that you should be running, and you can just easily follow them to boost your submission rate. Let's talk about the art of the optimizing first. It's gonna be very short. So the only way to optimize your pop-up and increase the submission rate is by running tests. There are many key factors that can make a drastic change in your conversion rate, but it is a long process and it might take you some time before you see the desired 8 to 10% conversion rate. And I said desired because this is usually what most brands would be more than happy with. Some tests might take it from 1% to 2%, others will take it from 2 to 4%, and so on and so on. But every single test that you run, which is an improvement, it's getting you closer to the desired submission rate. You'll run some of the tests once, like partial versus full screen, while you will run other tests multiple times over and over again. For example, when you're testing offers, make sure that your sample size is big enough. Usually I recommend at least 10,000 impressions per variation. And one more note, whenever you're running tests, always change only one variable. So we don't want to be testing partial versus full screen, the offer, micro yes versus no micro yes, and then the copy and designs as well. It doesn't make sense because then you don't know which variable made the change. And here's an example. Once again, it's not at 10K impressions yet, but you can already clearly see the difference where we've taken it from 8.4% to almost 12, which is almost 50% increase for already a pop-up that is doing well. That's why you need to always be optimizing and testing things and not settling for good. The first test is running full screen versus partial. So full screen pop-ups have recently taken over the scene. I've said it before, they are working currently very well. We've seen even 50 up to 70% uplifts in conversion rate after testing it against the regular partial pop-ups. It didn't work for every brand, and obviously not always the uplift was so big, but in some cases even like the partial per pop-up was performing better than the full screen one. But overall, this is something you want to test because it might have an immediate result, immediate impact, and it might immediately boost your conversion rate. And this is also the kind of test that usually you run once, maybe once per year, something like that. Micro yes versus no micro yes. So micro yes is just one extra step that we add to the pop-up. Instead of asking people for the email right away, we just ask them like, hey, would you like to get X? Where X is the offer. Then we give them two answers, yes or no, and after they click yes, this is where we ask them for the email address. If they click no, we just close the pop-up and that's it. And now this A/B test works extremely well just because micro yes is like very low commitment. And after someone commits to something, which is starting clicking the pop-up and they get into this process, they're more likely to finish it and end it just because they've already started it. An example of this is below where this is the micro yes step where we ask them like, hey, would you like to get free shipping, which is worth $20, yes or no? And then no micro yes, which is, hey, would you like to get it? And then yes or no once again. Very simple, but trust me, it can have huge difference on the submission rate. Offer, once again, one of the most important elements of the pop-up. Testing it once might not be enough, but don't get me wrong, you might see great results after launching just one offer, but just remember, it's not always the case. You want to test as many offers as you can, and there will be at least one that will do great. Just keep testing and iterating until you find the big winner, which will be worth it. Like once you hit this big winner, it's gonna be like a gold mine for you, trust me. Zero-party data versus no zero-party data. So you just want to make a list of questions that you could ask and add 1 or 3 to your pop-up. Ask them after someone submits the email. You don't want to be asking them before, but you can also test it because actually here I recommended asking them before they submit the email, but we also tested this part, which is asking the questions before they submit the email and then after. Just because after they submitted, they already have given the information, so we are not asking them for any extra data points. It's just more like a quiz, which also can do pretty well. And whenever running this test, make sure you have the welcome flow that is personalized for every single answer. Like I showed you the example before, if someone is running a detailing studio, you want the welcome flow that is tailored to detailing studio owners. If someone is buying the product because it's their own project, you want to have the welcome flow that is directed strictly at DIYers, which is people who are doing it for themselves. Then you want to measure not only the pop-up submission rate, but also the welcome flow's revenue. That's because it might happen that your submission rate will drop, but your welcome flow will be doing way better and it will make you make more money overall. This test is very important because your submission rate, once again, it might drop, but then the quality of those people will be higher. You're gonna have more data points about those people and you'll be more likely to convert them into paying customers, which then it may turn out that lower conversion rate on the pop-up makes you more money overall because the quality of those people is higher. For the design, you want to keep it as simple as possible, to be honest, but testing it is also very important. There are some tests that have huge impact, some that don't have that much impact. For example, testing the color buttons color doesn't have that much impact, but there are three good approaches that you can test that might give you some meaningful differences. So the first one is simple background versus fancy background. Color, X background versus Y. You want to switch them up, and then side images versus no side images. Again, personally, I'm not a big fan of testing designs that much. Maybe do it once with simple background versus fancy background. But other than that, these are like some minor changes that you can be testing, but they won't, turn around the pop-up from 2% to 4%, let's say, conversion rate. Copy, which is similar to design, it won't drastically change your submission rate, but you can still test different angles, short versus longer copy, social proof versus no social proof, and stuff like that. Email and SMS first. This test is great if you want to focus your lead growth on SMS a bit more. Usually email first performs better, but it's not always the case. Whenever running it, make sure to track your email and SMS welcome flow revenue as well. That's because if you go with SMS first, you might have, more SMS opt-ins, less email opt-ins. But on the other hand, if the SMS welcome flow makes you more revenue than if you had email first setup, then it still might be worth it to consider running SMS first. Now, as a bonus, here are gonna be 3 extra list growth methods that you can be using. First one is gonna be physical cards. So whenever sending an order, you can add a physical card that includes some information about your brand, but also a landing page where people can sign up for your SMS list or email list. You can use this to build the SMS list as well, as I mentioned. And on your end, you would need to set up a landing page and ideally something that people can search for easily. For example, domain.com/join. So if you're Nike, you would do nike.com/join. So it's not like, super long link that they need to enter or remember just to join your email list. You want to keep it simple. Social media giveaways. Whenever you have any kind of giveaway, it's gonna be great. Whether it's a gift card, your product, or anything else. You want to announce it on your social media profiles and then redirect people to your sign up landing page. Make sure to incentivize them to subscribe as well, which is say that it's mandatory to subscribe to join the giveaway. The quality of these people might not always be so great, so run it once and then check if the quality is actually decent or not. If you notice that these are low quality subscribers, just don't run this giveaway again. Or if you want to run it, don't run it in a way where you are making people opt-in into your email list. If it does well for you in terms of total revenue or performance, do it again, but don't, make it mandatory to sign up to your newsletter. Otherwise, you can keep doing it once per quarter, because if you do it more often, you're gonna bore the followers and it won't be as impactful as before. Offline events. So it's another great way to build your email list while also collecting more information about your customers and subscribers. Offline events usually get you very, very high quality subscribers. That's because someone is committing to show up in real life. So it's not about clicking, buttons on your website anymore. They need to actually put in some effort into what they're doing, which means that they like your brand and know what you're doing. So the next time you run an offline event, prepare a landing page where you collect all the signups along with the subscribers' preferences or zero-party data. We've run this a few times and honestly the quality of those subscribers has been great. Now I wanted to say congrats because you have just became list growth expert, and that's it for this tutorial. And I really hope you enjoyed it and learned a lot, but don't click off this video. There is gonna be one more very important thing. First one is just joining my newsletter, which you can find at dtcinbox.com. I'm gonna be sending weekly really valuable resources like this one, which I could be charging easily, hundreds of dollars for, but they're gonna be completely free. So make sure you subscribe to get weekly emails. And now if you want to stay in touch, obviously you can connect with me on LinkedIn or Twitter or on this YouTube channel. But one more important thing, is right now we're giving away free Klaviyo audits and free pop-ups. So even though you've watched this guide and read through it, I'm gonna still design a free pop-up for you just to show it what it could look like for your brand and how it would convert. It's gonna be completely free. We're gonna do it along with the step-by-step Klaviyo audit to give you an actionable plan that can help you change your store's revenue, improve it. So if you're interested in that, there's gonna be a link below this video. Just fill it out. Once again, it's completely free, and we're gonna audit your Klaviyo account, plus design a free pop-up for you, and we're gonna set it live on your store. So you don't need to do anything. We're gonna do it completely for you and completely for free. On the other hand, if you're not interested in that yet, make sure you watch my other videos like this segmentation masterclass or deliverability masterclass. Thanks for watching this video and see you in the next one. Cheers!